It is 2 p.m. in Manama. It is 12 noon in Paris. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. Bahrain's government hoped this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix would draw a line under a year of protest, but it seems to be doing the exact opposite. Anti-government protests have grown louder as the event focuses the world's attention on a country in turmoil. The sessions for Sunday's race ended just a short time ago. CNN's Fred Pleitgen joins us now live from Abu Dhabi. He and other journalists were asked to leave Bahrain ahead of the race. What happened, Fred?
Well, basically, the Bahrainis were very uncomfortable giving us these visas in the first place, and we'd been reporting from Bahrain for about 3 or 4 days.
Fred, thank you for that. Fred Pleitgen there at CNN Abu Dhabi. We've been looking at what newspapers around the world are saying about this. The British newspaper, The Guardian, has a headline simply titled, "Checkered Flag." It's a comment piece that says strategic alliances trump human rights. What is the difference between Bahrain and Syria? Well, Bahrain's deep problems are still there, and they will not be drowned out by the roar of engines today. Also in the UK, The Independent has this headline, "Turning a blind eye in Bahrain as an act of complicity." It's an opinion piece that criticizes motor racing bosses, including Bernie Ecclestone, the commercial chief of Formula One, saying what Ecclestone and co. apparently failed to appreciate is that doing nothing can be just as meaningful an act as making a fuss. Since last year, Formula One deemed a race in Bahrain would be a bad idea, the decision to go ahead this time implies that things are getting better. And there's an opinion piece in India's Hindustan Times with the headline, "On a wing and a prayer, F1 makes a risky pit stop." It goes on to say, taking an unnecessary risk with a race that appears to be highly politicized is a curious strategy. And the danger is more than just one of the people being hurt. It is also about the credibility of the FIA. Formula One is not going to make the opposition love the regime, and the Grand Prix is not going to make the authorities feel warm and wonderful about the protesters. It says it has invited representatives of Syrian opposition groups to Moscow next week to talk about a political solution to the crisis, but leading Western diplomats say the current peace plan brokered by Kofi Annan could be Syria's last chance before the country is plunged into civil war. Say 9 people have been killed so far today. CNN's Ivan Watson is following developments from Istanbul in Turkey. He joins us now live. Ivan, I want to first ask you about this invitation by Moscow for the opposition, the Syrian opposition, to go visit. What's that visit supposed to be all about?
I'm not entirely sure about that because the Russians have been trying to reach out to opposition groups.
Ivan, thank you. Ivan Watson there in Istanbul. You are watching World One live from London. 10 candidates in France's presidential election are making their final efforts to win support. It is the last day of campaigning before Sunday's first round of voting. An opinion poll published today for BFM TV shows Socialist Party candidate François Hollande in the lead. The current president, Nicolas Sarkozy, is 3 percentage points behind. The same poll suggests Hollande would win the presidency in a second round, denying Mr. Sarkozy of a new 5-year term. Well, let's go live to Paris now, where CNN senior international correspondent Jim Bitterman is watching developments for us from there. Jim. Look at the main candidates in France again. Nicolas Sarkozy is now 57. He's a conservative. He was elected in 2007. He has attracted as much attention for his personal life as his politics, especially his marriage to singer and actress Carla Bruni. Then we've got François Hollande there. He's considered the main challenger, the same age as Mr. Sarkozy. He is a former leader of the Socialist Party. He calls himself the anti-Sarkozy. And then we've got Marine Le Pen of the National Front. She's running in third in recent polls. The 43-year-old took over leadership of the far-right party from her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen. Joseph Kony, you may not have heard of him until last month, but the chances are you will have by now, particularly if you're one of the 90 million people around the world who has watched Kony 2012. It's an online campaign video that's gone viral. Now, the video is the work of an organization called Invisible Children. It was made to draw attention to Kony. He's an African warlord accused of kidnapping children like Jeffrey to use as soldiers and sex slaves. Well, today, the video's creators are calling for a worldwide day of activism to help highlight their Stop Kony campaign. They want people to put up Kony signs and posters around their neighborhoods in an event called Cover the Night. CNN's David McKenzie has been following the campaign. He joins us now live from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. David. Thank you, David McKenzie in Nairobi. A bitter dispute over who controls a major oil field is threatening to plunge Sudan and South Sudan into all-out war. The Heglig oil field is in a region that both countries claims is theirs. Last week, the South Sudanese military went in and seized the site. Well, that provoked a furious outcry from Sudan. Nema Al-Bagir is following events closely. She joins us now in the studio. What does this all come down to?
Oil. You know, in very simple terms, it comes down to oil. If the North's economy hadn't been so badly damaged by the South's secession taking with it.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. You are watching World One live from London. In his campaign, Nicolas Sarkozy said the French should be more like the Germans. To see what he actually meant, CNN's Juliette Mann visited two towns, neighbors on either side of the French-German border, but in economic terms, they are worlds apart. Just to give you some context on this, France is home to more than 65 million people. More than 37 million of them voted in the last presidential election in 2007. The economy will play a big part in this year's vote. According to the World Bank, France is the world's fifth largest economy with a GDP of more than $2.5 trillion. But France has been hit hard in the global downturn. Unemployment reached 10% in January. That's a 12-year high, according to Eurostat. Also, in January, Standard & Poor's downgraded France's credit rating one notch from AAA to AA+. Well, there are more protests today in a familiar place, Cairo's Tahrir Square. The protests are about a familiar issue, Egypt's upcoming presidential election. These are live pictures that we're showing you now of Tahrir Square, where there's widespread anger about the election commission banning 10 of the 23 president-backed. The cars have been on the track in Bahrain, but the lead up to this Sunday's Formula One race continues to be overshadowed by security concerns. CNN's Amanda Davis joins us now with more details on that. Hello.
Hi, yeah, one team in particular being affected, it seems, that is Force India, and they have said that they will start but not complete the second practice session in Bahrain. There's been a lot, about 100 days to go until the Olympics, but that's a long time for the athletes. I was interviewing Britain's heptathlon hope Jessica Ennis yesterday, and she just missed out on Beijing at this time in the season in the run-up and with injury. And you know, it was interesting listening to her yesterday saying, hopefully I'll be at the Olympics, because you just don't know. There is a really long way to go.
You don't really think about it as a long way because there's so much hype around it. We've got, 98 days now left. But I guess for an athlete, anything can happen at that time.
That's a lot of training.
A lot of training.
People injure themselves, putting on their socks sometimes. So.
Well, I trip just walking down the street. That's just me. It's the first time you're being on the show with me, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you, Amanda. We'll see you again next time.
See ya.
Amanda Davis there. You are watching World One live from London. Changes on the menu at Starbucks. The coffee chain. Welcome back. This is World One live from London. We are approaching almost 7 a.m. in New York. It is almost 1 p.m. in Berlin. And it is almost 8 p.m. for you in Tokyo. We want to take a look at what's trending on social media right now. At number 3, lots of people are happy to hear that Starbucks is debugging its menu. Yeah, they're phasing out the use of, I think I'm saying this right, cochineal, a food coloring made from the ground-up beetles, which has been part of products such as the strawberry frappuccino. Well, protests from vegan customers has bounced Starbucks into making the change. The company apologized and said it would switch to tomato extract. At number 2, a new bill in the United States is getting a lot of attention. It would require all new cars to have a black box, a data recording device like the ones already used in airliners. Well, supporters of the bill say it'll help in emergencies as it stores data on things like speed and collision time. Others say it's an unnecessary invasion of privacy. And at number 1, Formula One's decision to go ahead with the Grand Prix in Bahrain has outraged a lot of people on social networking sites using the hashtag Bahrain. Some people are tweeting about boycotting the race. Others are directly addressing Formula One drivers, urging them to set an example by refusing to take part. In South America, thousands of people in Paraguay are trying to get away from severe flooding. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with the latest on that. Hi, Mari.
Hey, Monita. Yeah, this is something that's been going on for quite a while in Paraguay. And back to you.
Very, very uncomfortable indeed, Mari. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sal, it's an art display of royal proportions. This week, Buckingham Palace in London has become an open-air gallery. Take a look at this. Giant images of the Queen have been projected onto the palace. The pictures are made up of 200,000 drawings by children from across Britain. You are watching World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you of the news headlines at the top of the hour right here on CNN.